Hi, loves. Happy Monday from Bali. I wanted to connect in and talk to you guys today about showing up for yourself. How not just is it important, but how showing up for yourself is actually what is going to get everyone and everything to kind of follow suit or like fall into place, so to speak. So first I want to talk about the fear. So a lot of people don't realize how fucking scary it is to say yes and to commit to yourself, right? And the biggest reason why it's so fucking scary is because once you say yes to yourself, to your highest alignment, to everything that you've ever desired, to everything you've ever wanted, to success, to that client you wanted, to that photo shoot you wanted to go perfectly, that perfect job, right? That perfect man, to fully say yes and get behind it and commit to yourself and to admit to yourself that's what you want and then commit to it. It's fucking scary because once you do, what that means and what our brain does is think and say, okay, well, once I commit and if it doesn't happen, then it's no one else's fault but me. It's on me, like I'm responsible. And it's no one else's responsibility but me. And that's what most people are afraid of, because what if it doesn't happen? Then what does that say about me? Does that mean I'm a failure? Does that mean I was responsible for not being able to create this thing? Does that mean that I'm not enough? Does that mean that I am, all these things that connect you back into your worth and you feeling like you're not enough somehow and that it was your responsibility, right? So no one wants to come to that conclusion, right? And that's a big enough fear to not fully commit and sort of play around the ideas, play around like, oh, I kind of want it, I do want it, but if it doesn't happen, it's not fully my fault. If it doesn't happen, then it's not the end of the world, right? Because I haven't committed to it fully. Oh, hi, love. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about even more. And so the other thing is, the biggest thing actually, is that if you want something and if you truly desire it and your energy is behind it and you're fully aligned and if you're fully committed, it's going to show up no matter what, right? It's going to freaking show up. Almost like when someone put their mind to it, if you've decided that you're going to do something, if you've decided that you're going to make something happen, it's going to happen no matter what, right? Like, for example, if I decided that I'm going to go to Japan, it's just going to happen. Then I'm going to find a freaking way. Whether I make that money or find that money or ask for that money or get the loan for the money, all you have to do is buy that ticket and go. It's a simple thing, right? The decision just has to be made, and then your energy has to get behind it. So when that decision isn't being made, when you're being truly freaking honest with yourself, and you can tell that you're not fully behind it, there's a part of you that doesn't believe it, there's a part of you that isn't fully committed to making it happen, and there's a part of you, their energy is kind of wavering behind it. It's because, or if it just hasn't showed up yet, right? And you feel, when you tap into yourself and you're like, something's off, I'm not fully there. The reason for that is because there's some sort of merit in you not having it, right? So there's something in it for you that benefits you in not having it, in staying in the fear, and staying in your comfort zone, and staying and not having the thing that you want to have, right? So, for example, and this is the part that this is the work, right? This is the part where you have to be completely, brutally honest with yourself, right? And be like, what I always do is I always hold my hand over my heart and tap into myself and go, why is it that I don't want this thing? Because I believe if I really wanted it, I create it and it can happen. Like, rule of thumb, law of attraction, I am the creator of my own reality. I know that. So if it's not showing up, if it's not coming in, then why is it that I don't want it to come in, that I'm not actually creating and allowing it to come into my life, right? So, for example, commitment in general has been a huge theme in my life. It showed up in a lot of ways, through jobs, through my career, through my relationships, through my friends, right? For me, committing to anything felt like a part of my freedom was being taken away. And I cannot stand for that. I can't let that happen, because all I've ever wanted ever since I was a little girl was to be free, right? I wanted pure freedom. And so this is everything that stemmed from the desire that of wanting something came from this freedom piece. I've Wanting a lot of money came from wanting that freedom. Wanting a lover came from wanting the support and love so that I can be free. Wanting an easy a job where I didn't have to go from 9 to 5 or work for someone came from wanting freedom. Everything came from wanting freedom for me. So committing to anything where I had to answer to someone, or I had to shift my agenda, my schedule, my anything to something or someone else's time frame or schedule, felt like my freedom was being taken away, right? So I had to work on that, obviously, over the years. One of the ways I worked on it is I created my own business, so I do have the pure freedom. And I've never worked corporate in my life. And second is I make enough money to sustain it all. And third, it showed up huge, big time in my relationship recently, where I have been dating someone for a good time now, and I couldn't fully commit to this person. We both couldn't. It showed up both ways. But we couldn't fully commit to ourselves and say yes to wanting that love and that support and unconditional love partner. Even though I was saying that I wanted a partner, even though I was saying I wanted to have that committed relationship, there was a part of me that couldn't fully be on board and say yes to myself and committing to that, because there wasn't merit in me in not having it, which was the freedom for me, right? So there's a part of me that still believed that being committed to someone meant less freedom for me. And I couldn't say yes to that, right? But what I realized, and this is what I worked on, was I was associating a relationship and a partnership with not having freedom, because I thought that having a relationship and a full committed partner who you love and connect with and want to share your life with meant that I had to compromise myself in some way, right? And that was the non-truth that I was living by that made me fear of being committed, because I didn't want that freedom to be taken away. I didn't want to compromise myself. I didn't want to dim my light. I didn't want to become small. I didn't want to fit in to some relationship so that I could feel loved. And because that meant sacrificing my freedom. So I realized, it's not the relationship. It's the compromising and the dimming of the light and fitting myself and making myself small that I didn't want, right? So once I shifted, I understood that it wasn't the commitment itself or the relationship itself, but it was the dimming and the compromising of light. I thought, then what if I just called in a relationship where I didn't have to dim my light, where I didn't have to compromise my well-being or myself, right? Where I didn't have to fit myself into their life or their schedule, where I could be fully myself, fully in my power, fully lit up and aligned to my soul, and still have this person in my life and supporting that. What if they were just a support and an addition to my life, to my light, to everything that I've ever wanted? And they fit into my life, right? Without me having to change anything. What if I get all of these things within my relationship? So I started playing with that, and that's how I shifted. I attacked that. First, I attacked that fear, or I identified that fear and realized, okay, that's where my merit is. That's why I don't want it to come in, because that's connected to that fear. And then I shifted that fear. I rewired my brain to understand that it's not those. I disassociated those two things. I disengaged with those two things and realized, okay, the fear isn't the commitment. The fear isn't the relationship. The fear is not being able to be in my power and not having the freedom to shine my light, right? So once those two were disconnected, then all I had to do was rewire my brain to think, I can have all of this. I can have a relationship that allows me to be in my power, that allows me to shine out my light, that allows me to be in my freedom, right? And so long story short, once I did this work, it shifted the person that I was dating on and off with into this version of a relationship. So it turned out this whole time, the 2.5 years that we've been going in and out, I was testing my freedom. We were basically paving out the roads or the foundation of what it would be like to design our own relationship based on our freedom to do what we wanted and to always put our well-being first, no matter what, right? Within the relationship. So, which meant when I wanted to go to Bali and explore and travel, because I hadn't done that, because I have been working on my healing my body for the last 8 years back at home. I was strapped and grounded at home because I was on medication. I was, all these things. I went internal to heal myself for the last 8 years. I didn't have the opportunity to go out and travel and see the world. So I wanted to do that. And he didn't stop me. I didn't stop myself. I committed to myself and said, yes, this is what I want. I'm committing to myself. I deserve this. Even if this means this may or may not work in a relationship, this is what I need to do. I went and did it. And after 9-10 months of doing that, I moved there, did all that, came back home, and I recommitted to my next step, which then happened to be staying back at home. This was separate from him. There were work stuff, there were other factors that came in, and even before that, I kind of felt like I think I'm supposed to be back in Cali. I don't know why, but I feel it, but I kind of ignored it because like, no, Bali's amazing, you know. And then I made that commitment, and all these opportunities work-wise came in. This is why I'm here now, working on Solit and being a part of the team. Hello. And of course, I committed to Solit fully by signing a contract, paying my investment, being a part of the team, and committing to a year and being a part of this business. And of course, I get the once I made that decision, once I committed fully by signing and putting my energy behind it through money, I got the money back in return and then some. So the amount that I put in to invest and then some came back within a week. So once you say yes and there's nothing in your field that is resisting receiving from it and from committing to the decision, the desire and the stuff that you've wanted, you're at a frequency match, and so it comes in immediately, right? So for the conclusion with a partner with the relationship piece, so what happened is he showed up, I showed up, and so eventually what happened was we are now in a committed, loving relationship, and it has never been better. And we had to do the work for 2.5 years to get to that point in terms of frequency, so that we're a match, so that we can create and design our own relationship that is committed to our freedoms, right? And that's exactly the pact that we made when we connected and we made that commitment to each other. We're like, you know what? Let's commit to each other that we are going to design a relationship perfectly for us. The relationship that allows us to be free and create what we want in our life. This is between me and you, and this is our pact. I can commit to that. I can commit to designing our own relationship just the way I design my own life. I can commit to my freedom, your freedom, our freedom, right? That I can commit to. So that's what we committed to, and here we are. So it showed up, right? What I wanted, the relationship I wanted where I can have my freedom, be in my power, and have someone who supports me in that showed up. Just the way this opportunity of wanting to call in more money showed up through this beautiful business with my soul sisters, my amazing like light worker partners of the team, right? So showing up is more than just it's a simple thing, meaning it's simple enough where, so there's like, if I were to like break it down to simple steps, it would be like, number one, you commit or you make the decision. Take all that back. So first, you get super clear on what you want, and you get really, really honest with yourself to decide, okay, this is what I want. This is what I truly desire from the bottom of my heart, right? So you get super, super clear on that. Number two, you make the decision. You decide, I'm going to fully commit to this. I'm saying yes to this no matter what, right? I'm going to follow through with this until it happens. That's the number two. And then number three, you have to identify anything that comes up once you make the decision, right? Once the decision is made, it's not that, I hear this a lot where you think that the cosmos tests you, right? I made the decision, every time I commit, the cosmos tests me, or when I try to do something and move forward, it tests me to see if I really want it. No. Cosmos does not test you. That's a human construct, right? There's no person or being or entity sitting up in the ether, sitting there watching you, judging you, going, you actually ready? Do you really want this? Let me test you. No one's here to judge you. No one's here to test you. That doesn't happen, right? Cosmos is just an energy. It's not a person. So energy, and the law of energy is just law of attraction. Like attracts like, right? So they don't hear your words. They don't hear the mix up of vibration, of yes and no. They hear vibration, they hear frequencies, right? So what they hear isn't the words. What they hear is the frequency that you're vibrating at, and then whatever is not in match to what you are truly desiring is going to come up so that it can be cleared, shifted, and healed, so that you can be a vibrational match to the frequency that you want the stuff, so that you can come in, right? Oh, my love, Linda. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Clearly I want to go shopping. Yeah, so what it does is it doesn't test you. It basically gives you the opportunity to shift all the resistance and different frequencies in your vibrations that aren't matched to you receiving the thing that you want, right? So, for example, I've had a potential client reach out and want to work with me, and she made the commitment, we talked, and she was like, we're doing this. Once she made the decision, a lot of things came up, right? And so this happened with like a lot of people, actually, a few clients, but one of the most recent one, when she's told me this, she's like, this is a pattern that I have. Once I make a commitment, things come up. It's like the cosmos is testing me, and I know I just have to work through it. And so I thought, interesting. So I wanted to tell her, and I did, which was, it's not that it's testing you. It's literally it's heard you, right? It's heard you, and it's trying to give you what you want by giving you all the stuff that's in resistance, the stuff that's not at the frequency for you to be able to receive the thing that you want. So what happened for her was her partner's father, who was already battling cancer, is at the end of the ropes. She got the news right after the commitment, right? So there's all these things that she had to be working on. She had to move out of her space into somewhere new because she was having some financial issues, and it all blew up in her face, right? So all these things are coming up. And she knows this. She knows that these are stuff that she's been working on in her lower 3 chakras. So she knows this is her work. But this all came up the second she made the commitment, right? And it's not, and most people, this is where people stop. Most people, this is where they stop showing up. They stop doing the work because it's like, oh, well, it's not meant to be. Or, oh, I can't go through this. Or, oh, can't deal with this. Or, I'm being tested, I don't want to go through the test, right? But this is the work to clear your vibrations and your resistance and your fears around why you believe you don't deserve to receive, right? Your actual true desires. Once you go through that and clear and shift that out of your energy, then the thing that you committed to shows up. So don't stop showing up. Keep going, right? This is the work. The decision, it starts with a decision. Before that, starts with the clarity of what you want. Then the decision is made. Then the things that are not a match to that vibration shows up so you can clear it. Once you clear it, the thing that you want shows up, right? You just keep clearing, keep showing up. And the thing is, when you think of it as a test, it feels like a lot of work. It feels like you're being judged. It feels like a lot of pressure. But when you think of it as, oh, this is an opportunity to clear my shit that I've been trying to clear for so long anyway, why the fuck not, right? And then if you think of it as, I'm just showing up to do the work. That is all I'm being asked to do. It's not as scary. It's not this big test. It's not this huge process. There's not all that pressure on you, right? All you have to do is show up. So what does showing up mean? It means being truly, brutally honest with yourself as these things come up. It means loving yourself in the process. It means giving that nourishment and the support that you need. It might be from outside resources. It might be support from love. It might be asking for help. Giving yourself that support and nourishment so that you can go through the process, so that you can clear the shit, so that you can get rid of the frequencies that are not meant to be in your vibration anymore. When you want something, when you desire something, that is actually where you're meant to be. Right? When you have a strong desire to create something, want something in your life, that is the soul essence of what is supposed to be in your reality now. In Abraham Hicks speak, it's already in your vortex, right? It's already there. You just have to match up to it so that it can come in. And the matching up process is the work, is the quote test that people talk about in order for you to manifest it, right? But the work requires you to show up every step of the way, boldly, strongly, recommitting, reconnecting to the desire, reconnecting to the decision, reconnecting to the clarity, and recommitting to your love for yourself and support for yourself, that you deserve and are worth everything to create what you want to desire, right? So that to me is showing up, and it's crazy that that has been showing up as a theme in my life personally, but also in everyone around me, right? So my clients, my loves, my all my soul sisters that I met here in Bali, right? It's crazy. I just want to give you like a few more stories of how this shows up for people. For myself, it showed up in a photo shoot. So I had, well, first of all, I committed to this thing called Solit, that hello, and that's why I'm here. Solit is this beautiful, beautiful energy, very strong, powerful energy. The second that it was actually founded or created into form through my really dear friend and soul sister, Samantha and Mason, I heard the name. I had no idea what it was, but she's like, we have this thing that we're working on. It's called Solit. The second she said the name, I was just like, oh, my whole being lit up, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I know it's some like I know you're still creating it. But you haven't even told me what it is, but I need to be a part of that. It's a big fat fucking yes, and I need to be a part of that. You come back to me when it's like in form for me, so that I can say yes to it. And like months later, here I am saying yes to it and committing to it. But once I did, everything started to shift for me. And I did that right before I came to Bali. And so when I came to Bali, everything around what I was doing here had shifted. It's like I was fully here for all the transformation that I was meant to have for when I was here, right? And the experience I was supposed to have, including one of them, which was a photo shoot, which felt like in my head, I was like, I've done photo shoots before, no biggie, I get the drill. You did yourself up, and you come back to your center and you just show up, whatever, right? I've done it before. And I was doing it with one of my beautiful girlfriends that's here, alive here with me, who understands and sees me as I am. She knows my light. She knows what I do. She feels my light. And I was like, I'm working with her, easy breezy. She can hold that space for me, right? And lo and behold, the day before, I had a whole day of prepping and pampering, and I did my nails, I did my eyelashes, I got a facial, I went surfing and boxing so I would be prepared for the next day, because I'm an active person. If I'm not active, it like shuts me down. I got my ocean time, I did my hair, I was all prepared. But throughout the whole day, it was crazy. This is how it showed up. Number one, I was nervous, and it was the most stressful time in my life. You'd think pampering for a whole week would be, amazing and easy and like whatever, but it's like I understood what it must have been to be a bride, because it's fucking stressful. It is not fun. I was like, I don't enjoy sitting around being pampered and beautified for like hours, right? And what happened was, everything that I was doing was somewhat going wrong, where my hair didn't work out that I wanted. The facial was actually hurting me more than helping me. And what was funny is I wasn't able to show up for it fully, meaning I wasn't able to express the discomforts that I was having throughout the process. I felt like, like thoughts were coming up of like, I have a whole day to pamper myself for a photo shoot. I am blessed. I should be grateful. I shouldn't be complaining. I shouldn't be stressed. I was shitting all over myself, and that was showing up through all the work that was happening. The people that were working on me were doing all these great work, and I couldn't express that I wasn't feeling good. That it was painful, and I'm having a bad time, and I was having reactions or whatever, and there were things that wasn't what I wanted. So before the shoot, I knew, and I couldn't sleep the night before. I was being pampered from 6 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. and I was exhausted. And then, and I went surfing and boxing that day, so I was already physically exhausted too. And then I couldn't sleep until 12 because I was like so amped up and like so in my head. I woke up at like 5 a.m. even though I wasn't supposed to be at the shoot until 8. And I couldn't go back to sleep. I mean, I was a wreck, right? And I had this meeting at 7 a.m. and I went in and I connected in with my Solit sisters, and they were like, I know we've been there before, and they immediately softened me and they gave me the support and the nourishment, which was, you don't have to worry, number one, and number two, nourish yourself. They were that reminder to remind myself that I needed to nourish myself, and they reminded me to express the things that I don't like just as much as the things that I do like. And so for the photo shoot, I had to remind myself, or I had to go in thinking, if something doesn't come up, If I feel like I don't look good and if something doesn't feel good, I need to say it. I don't like this. I don't like this, how this looks. I don't want this. I want it this way. I need to express the things that I don't like so that it comes out in a way that I've truly desired, and it looks and it's aligned to me, right? And so that's what the intention was, and that's what I focused on before I went in. And so I did the shoot, and it was beautiful. My girlfriend directed me, told me what looked good, what didn't look good, and she like pulled out her expertise, told me what was good. I was able to express myself fully and be like, hey, I want to see it. What does that look like? Oh, I don't like that. I do like that. And I had this amazing shoot. It was a lot easier than I thought. I did have to, I will admit, I had to booze myself a little bit to relax a little bit. But once I did, it was magic. It was pure magic. It was amazing. It was fun. It was easy. I got all the shots that I wanted in a lot little time than we thought. In the sense that I thought we had to go into another location to get another shoot in the during sunset, but I didn't need it. I was done. It was faster than I thought. I was like, I got everything that I needed. It was amazing. And I've seen some of the photos, and it's freaking phenomenal. It's literally the best shoot I've ever had. And so I showed up. I had to go through the work, and I had to express all the things I needed to express and go through all the shit and shift it so that I can get the results that I wanted, right? And so that I can manifest my truest desires. So that was my personal experience. So all this stuff comes back to showing up for yourself so that everything, and this is the big one, everyone can fall into line, fall into place, right? It's not the outside circumstances, it's not the people, it's not the things, it's here. It always is, right? Once your frequency is aligned, once you've cleaned up your energy, cleaned out the frequencies that don't match, it all falls into place. Anything and every person that was difficult shifts. They respond differently. They react differently because you're holding your energy differently. Your frequency is different, and they're not able to show up in a way. So what happens is when you show up for yourself, other people show up for you fully, right? And then that reason why is because they are showing up to your frequency. They feel your energy, and they can't vibrate at a different energy than what you're holding, because that's just law of attraction, right? So it shifts, and you don't even have to convince them or control them, or you don't have to do any of that stuff. It just happens, right? So it's amazing when you can do that for yourself, and when you can see that, and when you can implement these steps so that it all falls into place rather than you having to self-manage and control all the little things outside of you, right? And you're not gonna want to hear this, but it's not them, it's you. It always is. And owning up to that can be scary because that feels like a lot of responsibility. And most people are afraid of tuning in and actually owning it because they don't want to be responsible for the results that come, right? They don't want to be fully responsible because that's fucking scary. That means everything. When you accept the fact that you create your own reality, that means everything that happens in your life is up to you, that you're creating, that you're attracting it. That's a scary thought, right? And then you become like the thought police. You're like, oh my God, did I create this? What did I do wrong? And that's another way that people create more resistance in slowing down the process of creating and calling in what you actually want in your life and attracting in the thing that you've been desiring this whole time. We'll talk about that next time. But basically, when you show up, others show up. Everything shows up. Everything you want shows up. Everything you don't want, everything in your frequency that is not in alignment to what you want shows up so that you can come into alignment, so you can shift it so that the thing that you want can show up, right? Everything starts here. So that's all I wanted to say today. I hope that helps in just seeing your world differently so that you can show up differently, so that you can nurture yourself every step of the way, so that you can create from a place of joy, right? You can create in this process that's, it can be easy, it can be flowy, it can be, even though the process can be hard, even though the things that come up can be hard and treacherous, it can be miraculous at the same time. You can experience the fear, the crazy, the scary experiences that come up with an eye of magic, with an eye of twinkle, with an eye of wonder, going, holy shit, look how it's all showing up. This is crazy. doesn't feel good right now. But just seeing that, just that clarity of that perspective is kind of mind-blowing, you know? Like, you can experience it from a place of magic now, even if it doesn't feel good. So just wanted to give you some of that magic. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and see you guys all soon. Mwah! So much love to you.